So we just got a major leak involving the C8 ZR1. If the rumors are correct, this thing is going to, bro, it's going to flip supercars on their head. There's no other way to put it. The new C8 ZR1 makes, embrace yourself, 1,064 horsepower. And it makes 828 pound-feet of torque. I need y'all to put this, and let me put this in perspective for y'all. We thought it was going to have 850, maybe not close to 900 horsepower. No. Right out the gate, 1,064 horsepower, 828 pound-feet of torque. That's monstrous. And then they put the legendary split window in a Corvette. Do you remember the last time they used the split window on a Vette? No, this is no longer a sports car. No. GM has officially dove into the realm of supercars. And before you open your mouth, please do not compare this to a Dodge Demon. This thing will kick draws in a Dodge Demon, not just because it has a little bit more horsepower. No, not just because it's lighter. No. It'll destroy a Dodge Demon purely because this thing has all the attributes of a race car. This is a 5.5 twin turbo LT7 powered monster, bro. Not electronically assisted, none of that. This is all out raw driving experience. You have 1,000 horsepower behind the crack of your ass. Boy, this thing nastier than a stepmom search history. This thing nastier than a professional anal bead tester. This thing hauls more ass than your favorite high school teacher. GM looking at Dodge right now like, we can do it too. Man, on some gang shit. We could do it. Man, 1,000 horsepower ain't nothing. Man, we ain't scared of no Dodge Demon. Man, get your weight up, little nigga. Dealership markups and the MSRP together are probably going to go through the roof. This is probably going to be a good, maybe $250,000 car. Adjusted for dealership markups, we're looking at damn near $500,000 car if you think about it, because some areas are ruthless with the markups. Now, if they would just put this engine in the next generation of Camaro, a 7th gen Camaro with this twin turbo LT7. We need it. We need it. Bro, think about it. 7th gen Camaro with a twin turbo LT7 and a 10-speed behind it. Lord Jesus, we cooking with fire right now. If you go way back to the beginning of the Corvette, right? 1953, what happened? We got this thing. It had bold styling, but it was absolutely terrible. It was a lemon from factory. It came with a subpar 3.9 liter Blue Flame inline 6 that didn't complement the rest of the vehicle. Sure, it looked good, but it wasn't fast to save its life. All the way until 1955 when this thing got the 265 4.3 liter V8 and completely changed the dynamic of the Corvette forever. From the C2 generation to the C3 generation, we saw some absolute manly ass Corvettes. But then the C4 generation came and destroyed all of it. The C4 generation wasn't as good. It just wasn't. You see, a lot of car companies went through this phase where they had to downgrade their V8s, detune their V8s because of emissions regulations and emissions standards and things like that. So this thing got some pretty crappy V8 options. The only good option was the LT5, and you had to pay an arm and a leg for like maybe $100,000+. Then by the C5 generation, GM decided, you know what, we need to take a different route because these Gen 2 LT engines just aren't working and people are complaining about the OptiSpark. All right, great. So what we're going to do is take an old Ford Y block and turn it into what we call an LS engine. And it went uphill from there. Then we ended up getting the C6 Grand Sports, the C6 base models, and the infamous ZR1 with 638 horsepower. It was absolutely marvelous. But people couldn't understand paying $100,000, $120,000 for a vehicle with a basic ass interior. So it was like a good flop, so to speak. It was good and bad. Good in terms of how much horsepower you were getting from that LS9 6.2 liter V8, and bad in terms of like styling. Then we ended up getting the Doritos jacked of ZL1 Corvettes, a 755 horsepower LT5 powered monster. For a limited time only. The same engine in this car was never used in anything else. They just made it as a crate engine. That's it. Should they have used it in the C8, Stingray? Yeah, they should have. Do I think it's a wasted engine? Yeah, it was wasted on one vehicle. that was like $150,000 to $175,000. That's absolutely insane. You see, this is the simplified history of the Corvette. I made it as simple as possible, but there's a secret history that either people know about or don't know about. You see, this isn't the only generation of mid-engine Corvette. There are actually multiple generations, most of which are just prototypes because either it was too expensive to develop such a vehicle, or it was experimental, or the stock market crashed like it did in the late 2000s. They were literally going to make a rotary mid-engine Corvette. Imagine how that would have turned out. But these are just my thoughts on the C8 Corvette, bro. Like, I'm utterly impressed. 1,064 horsepower, bro. This is one for the history books.